Many audience should be able to find that we really mention the system experience in full review. The reason is that the system is almost the same for phones of the same brand. If we were to talk about system experience in detail, the same content would make the length of video very long. So in this video, let's briefly talk about the system experience of each brand. iPhone's iOS and Samsung's One UI should be familiar to everyone, so we have chosen a few Android brands. MIUI 14 for Xiaomi and Redmi, OriginOS 3 for Vivo and iQOO, ColorOS 13 and realme UI 4 for Oppo and Realme. After 2 years of optimization, Xiaomi's latest MIUI 14 has been very satisfying. When I think back to MIUI 12 on Mi 11, it was really a nightmare. I'd experienced MIUI 14 on Xiaomi 13 for 2 months, and not only there were no bugs, but also lag was almost non-existent. I don't know if it is because of Android 13 of Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, MIUI is no longer the same unresponsive and buggy system. Some people also complain that MIUI has a lot of ads. I would like to clarify that. It's true that the Chinese version of MIUI has a lot of ads, but the global version is almost non-existent. Even if your phone is a Chinese version of MIUI, after some simple settings, you can remove or block most of the junk app and ads. One of the reasons why I like to use Xiaomi phone is actually because MIUI is very customizable. For example, in the display settings, MIUI allows you to customize the color temperature in any color mode. You can even address the saturation, contrast, and gamma in the advanced setting. The dual apps feature is almost much more powerful than any other phones. Almost any app can be cloned out of another one without any limitations. I'd also like to compliment MIUI's fingerprint recognition. I don't mean to praise the fingerprint recognition speed of Xiaomi phones as super fast. After all, Xiaomi doesn't have a phone with ultrasonic fingerprint recognition yet, but it actually works better than other phones. Let's look at an everyday scenario. If your phone is sitting still on the table for a while, Oppo's ColorOS 13 screen is not unlockable. You have to light up the screen to unlock it. Vivo's OriginOS 3 is able to unlock directly by pressing, but the response will be slower. And MIUI, whether your screen is off or on, is able to unlock immediately. There are many more design details in MIUI. For example, floating window without extra buttons, only 2 little bars to do all the operations. Very elegant. The notification center and the control center can be switched by sliding left and right. The volume of each application can be addressed independently. Some apps don't support floating windows, such as YouTube. However, Vivo phones support this feature. There's really nothing I can complain about with the current MIUI 14. OriginOS from Vivo and iQOO should be the most unfamiliar to everyone, because so far the global version of Vivo phones are still using FunTouch OS like stock Android. If you want to buy the latest flagship phone from Vivo or iQOO from China, then you should get to know OriginOS. In terms of basic daily use, there's nothing wrong with OriginOS 3. No bugs, no lag, smooth animations. The most important feature of this system is also the high level of customization, but unlike MIUI, its customization is basically for beauty. The size, color, and shape of desktop icons can be changed. What impressed me the most is the dynamic effects in settings. There are all kinds of animations to choose from. There are 13 kinds of animations for fingerprint recognition alone, which is really crazy. There is another feature that other brands don't have, and that is a remote assistance, which allows you to control another phone remotely by making a phone call. This is not a new feature. Many apps can do this. Although it requires both phones to be OriginOS to support this feature, the advantage is that you don't need to download an app that you don't know, and Vivo is a trusted brand. Since it is Chinese version system, even if you change the language to English, there will be some places that are Chinese, but this is much less than before. The problem of not being able to update system apps in the App Store has also been solved. The Pro model of the camera can also lock the lens and it will not automatically switch. Vivo has really changed all the things we hate. Good job. I believe it will only take a moment to wait and the global version of OriginOS will be here soon. It's hard for me to say what the obvious pros and cons of Oppo's ColorOS are. The biggest improvement is the RAM management. Your apps won't be killed so easily anymore. I think its most interesting feature is that AOD can display and switch songs, but only Spotify is supported. I hope more apps will be supported in the future. ColorOS Control Center and Notification Center are together, unlike MIUI and OriginOS, which can be displayed separately. Screen-off gestures can be customized to launch any app, while OriginOS can only launch specified apps. There is almost no difference between realme UI and ColorOS. The only difference I can find is the application refresh rate. realme UI can customize the refresh rate of each application. ColorOS does not support this feature yet, but I believe Oppo will add this feature for ColorOS in the future. OnePlus OriginOS is no longer the same as it used to be, and the OnePlus phones purchased in China are using ColorOS. Except for the red one on the clock, I can't see any difference between OnePlus and Oppo in terms of system. Zen mode, which was previously only available on OnePlus phones, is now available on Oppo and Realme phones. What's sad is that OnePlus has a region lock problem, which Oppo and Realme phones haven't found yet. To buy a OnePlus phone from China, you need to ask the seller if the phone is locked in your region. That's all we have to talk about today. There are some other brands such as Huawei's HarmonyOS, ZTE and Nubia's MIUI, and Meizu's FlyMeOS that we can only talk about next time. If it was a few years ago, the system of each brand was still relatively different. Now, basically they are all very similar, because if there's a feature that everyone loves, then every brand will immediately copy that feature over. If I have to pick a winner, I'd choose MIUI 14. MIUI without lag and bugs is unbeatable. After all, Xiaomi's first product was not a phone, but MIUI. Which brand's OS do you like the most? Feel free to post your opinion in the comment section. I'm Will from Gizmochina. See you next time.